Hello everyone, welcome to Mt.R.S.Kalaria school. My name is Riddhi Trivedi. Today we'll study science of standard 7 NCERT. The next chapter, that is our chapter number 4, heat. Now student, let us begin this chapter to identify few of the substance which is written on the board. Let us identify whether the substance is hot or cold. So very first object we have ice cream, but obvious the ice cream is cold. The next one, spoon dipped in a teacup. Now teacup is hot here, isn't it? So we have to identify that spoon is hot or cold. So we can say it is a hot because the tea is hot and we dipped the spoon. Though similarly the spoon is also hot. The next one, fruit juice, it is a normal temperature, okay. So we can say it is a room temperature or normal. So is this a cool? It will not hot. The next one, handle of a frying pan. Now here students, you keep in mind, it is given over your handle, which is made up of ebonite. It is a special substance which does not absorb a heat. So we can say a coal, isn't it? But if the frying pan is there, only frying pan is there, which is we have to identify, which is it is kept on a stove, then it is a hot. So with this example of the substance, we identify whether the substance is hot or cold. Now let us move to the next activity. It is a very interesting one. Here we have three beakers, which is name is beaker A, beaker B, beaker C. In beaker A we have to fill hot water, in beaker B we have to fill cold water, and in beaker C we have to put both water, that is a mixed water, hot and cold. Now what you have to do it, you have to put your hands beaker A and beaker B simultaneously, isn't it? And then you have to identify whether water is hot or cold. So we can easily find out that if we kept our one hand in a beaker A, then the water will be hot and we feel hot. In beaker B, if we put our hand, we feel cold because the water is cold. But what about the beaker C? In beaker C, if we put our both hands, we cannot justify it. We cannot identify whether the water is hot or cold, isn't it? So our sense of touch is not always reliable, isn't it? A reliable measure of an hotness of an object is its temperature. So we can say a temperature is measured by a device, a particular device which is known as a thermometer. So we have a measuring temperature. To measure the temperature, we have two types of thermometer, isn't it? One is clinical thermometer and second is laboratory thermometer. In clinical thermometer, it is used for clinical purpose. It helps to measure the human body temperature. It consists of a long, narrow, uniform glass tube with the bulb at the one end. You have noticed it, isn't it? The next one, the bulb contains mercury, which is a small shiny thread. Now students, why mercury is used, I will answer in this video only. The next is, it reads the temperature from 35 to 42 degrees Celsius, because the human body temperature does not go below the 35 degrees Celsius and the normal human temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. But students, we have two units, degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit, isn't it? But according to our textbook, we are going to study about Celsius degree. Now let us understand the precautions while using of clinical thermometer. What we have to take care while using clinical thermometer? The very first thing, thermometer should be washed before and after use, preferably with an antiseptic solution. You might have noticed, isn't it, when you go for treatment to doctor, so doctor measures your temperature, at that time doctor wash the thermometer before and after using. The second precaution, ensure that, means make sure that before use the mercury level is below 35 degree. It should be below 35 degree Celsius. The next third precautions, read the thermometer keeping the level of mercury along with the line of sight. According to textbook figure 4.3, you will see the picture how to read the thermometer. The next one, handle the thermometer with care as it is of glass. Okay, as it is made up of glass, so we should handle with care while using. The last precaution, don't hold the thermometer by the bulb while reading it. Okay, don't hold the bulb while reading it. It should be, we should hold the thermometer from the back side, not from the tip, from the bulb. So these are the precautions we have to take care while using with the clinical thermometer. Now let us understand the second, that is a laboratory thermometer. Laboratory thermometer, it measures the temperature of substance. Generally, it ranges from -10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. So we can say the laboratory thermometer is not used for a clinical purpose, isn't it? The laboratory, it is used for the measuring different substances. Now here also certain precautions are there while using the thermometer. We should keep in mind, the very first precaution is it should be kept upright, not tilted, isn't it? It should be kept straight, not tilted. In textbook figure 4.5 you will notice it. The next precaution, the bulb should not touch the surface, isn't it? The bulb which not touch the surface, but it should surrounded by from all the sides and by the substance of which the temperature is to be. Now students, apart from these thermometers, clinical and laboratory thermometers, we have another types of thermometer which are used for different purposes. Okay, so let us see, different types of thermometers are used for different purposes. These are maximum and minimum temperatures of the previous day reported in weather reports are measured by a thermometer, are called a maximum and minimum thermometer. In chapter 7 you will understand the purpose regarding maximum and minimum thermometer. So they are the special types of thermometer which are used for different purpose to measure the temperature of the day or weather forecast report, which is prepared by with this special maximum and minimum thermometers. Now students, in our textbook, okay, in our textbook, Bujo is asking, Bujo got a naughty idea. He wanted to measure the temperature of hot milk by using a clinical thermometer, but her friend Paheli stopped him to do so. Why? Because do not use a clinical thermometer for the measuring the temperature of any object other than human body, as it is a purpose that with the help of clinical thermometer only the human body temperature measures. And also she suggested also avoid keeping the thermometer in sun or near the gas flame, because it may break, as it is made up of, its body is made up of glass. So the students, these things you have to keep in mind while working with the clinical thermometer. So students, after understanding the concept of clinical thermometer and laboratory thermometer, we came to know that with the help of a clinical thermometer we cannot measure the temperature of a substance, isn't it? Because it is used for a human temperature, isn't it? Because the clinical thermometer, it ranges from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius, and in case of a laboratory thermometer we cannot measure the temperature of a human body, because laboratory thermometer ranges from -10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius, which is used to measure the temperature of a different substances, as it is in mercury is in a high boiling point, isn't it, high temperature. So laboratory thermometer is used to for measure the different substances. And students, you keep in mind, all the substances does not have the same temperature. Every substances have a variety of temperature, isn't it? So students, now let us move towards the next topic, that is transfer of heat. In this topic we will understand how the heat is transformed from one object to another one. You might have observed a frying pan which is kept on a gas stove. becomes hot. But when the gas is off and you will keep aside, after some time it becomes cool slowly and the surrounding air present near the frying pan becomes somewhat hot, isn't it? So both in these cases we can say the heat is transferred from one object to another. In fact, we can say that in all cases heat flows from one object, that is a hot object, to a cold object. In transfer of heat, we understand the three modes of transfer of heat. The very first mode is a conduction. Now what is this process? In your textbook, a figure is given. If you take a metal strip or a steel scale, and if you kept in a flame of a candle, so one of the end becomes hot and the slowly heat is transferred from one end to the another end. So we can say that it takes place in a solid substance from one end to another end. So here it is a flow of heat from hot side to another cold side. Here I specified that is a solid substance. All solid substance allow heat to pass from that, isn't it? So the material which allows the heat to pass from that are known as conductors, and the materials which do not allow the heat to pass from that are known as insulators. Now let us have the examples of the conductors. So we can say iron, copper, aluminium. Now let us move to the examples of insulators, that is wood, plastic, rubber. So we can say that the conduction takes place in a solid substance from one end to another end. So let us move towards the second mode of transfer of heat, that is the convection. Now convection takes place generally in liquid and gases. In textbook activity, the very first activity is convection in heat or water. Now what is this? If we kept water on a flame, isn't it? So what happens? The water rises up, hot water rises up and the cold water moves down. This process continues till the whole water gets heated. In this way, the convection of heat in water takes place. The very second activity regarding convection is the convection of heat in air. How we will find out? Take a candle, burn it and keep both the hands like up and one on the other side. So you will notice it, the hand which is up on the flame, you will see that the hot air coming up and it will feel hot up here. And as compared to side hot, the upper head is more heat. So we can see that the convection of heat surrounding air with this activity. Now students, let us move to the third mode of heat, transfer of heat, that is the radiation. Before understanding radiation, let us understand what is a sea breeze and land breeze. It is a very interesting phenomenon, isn't it? The people living in the coastal areas experience an interesting phenomenon. During the day, the land gets heated faster than the water. The air over the land becomes hotter and rises up. The cooler air from the sea rushes in towards the land to take its place. The warm air from the land moves towards the sea to complete the cycle. You can see in the figure, okay? The air from the sea is called a sea breeze. To receive the cooler sea breeze, the windows of the houses in coastal areas are made to face the sea. At night, the cycle is reversed. The water cools down more slowly than the land, so the cool air from the land moves towards the sea. This is called a land breeze. When we come out in the sun, we feel warm. How does the heat from the sun reaches us? It cannot reach us by conduction or convection method, as there is no medium such as air in most part of the space between the earth and the sun. From the sun, the heat comes out by the process known as radiation. The transfer of heat by radiation does not require any medium. It can take place whether a medium is present or not. So we can say all hot bodies radiate heat. When this heat falls on some object, a part of it reflected on a part is absorbed and it may be transmitted. The temperature of the object increases due to the absorbed part of the heat, and that is why we are advised to use umbrellas in a hot season. So we can understand the which types of clothes we wear in summer and in winter. Generally we prefer light color clothes in summer season because light color clothes reflect the sun light, isn't it? And the dark color absorb it. So we wear light color clothes in a summer season to keep our body cool. And in winter season we wear woolen clothes, that is a dark color clothes, isn't it? So what wool does? Wool is a poor conductor of heat and the air is trapped between it, and so it keeps our body warm, and this is the reason we wear such types of clothes in a such particular season. Now before ending our chapter, let us do a small recap. We had understand that the heat is transformed from one object to another object, isn't it? We had also seen that the every time sense of touch is not reliable. To measure particular temperature, we have a device that is called a thermometer. Here we have two types of thermometer, that is a clinical thermometer and laboratory thermometer. Now clinical thermometer is used to measure the human body temperature, and it ranges from 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. Now the next laboratory thermometer we are having, it is used to measure the substance temperature, and it ranges from -10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. We cannot measure the human body temperature with the help of a laboratory thermometer, and in both the thermometers mercury is used, which is a very toxic substance, and it is a liquid substance and at room temperature generally. And we had also understand the modes of transfer of heat. In this chapter we had understand the three modes of transfer of heat. The very first mode is a conduction, in which conduction takes place generally in a solid substance, and in second transfer of heat we had seen the convection. Convection takes place in a liquid and gaseous. We had seen through activity the convection in air and convection in water. The third transfer of heat, that is a radiation. Radiation is the best example, that is sunrise, which does not require any medium. So also we had understand the types of clothes, which kinds of clothes we wear in a particular season, which absorbs, which reflects, and which traps the air, which keeps our body, that is a woolen clothes and light colors and dark color clothes. So students, we end our chapter over here. Thank you everyone. Now as we understand about the conduction, convection, isn't it? Now we'll perform the activities related to it. The first activity will perform the flow of heat through metal strip according to the textbook. The second one will form that identify the present objects are insulators or conductors, which we understand, okay, the substance which allows heat to transfer or which are not allowing, that is poor conductor. Next, the transfer of heat by convection in air. So let us begin with the activities. Now here I have a setup in the table, and that on this table one candle is lighted. I had taken the metal strip. On that I had a clamp, okay, I had to apply a wax, isn't it, in a one direction. Now what you have to do, first we are doing the flow of heat through a metal strip. Now what you will do, you will take a rod or a flat metal strip. If you are having any one, you can choose it, okay, say of aluminum or iron, or fix a few small wax pieces on the rods as I applied over here. These pieces should be at nearly equal distance and clamp the rod. If you don't have stand, you can hold it on your hand like that, okay. Now next what we have to do, now heat the other end, okay. Now I will start the heating. Now what you will observe, the wax pieces, okay, as soon as it started getting heated, the pieces of wax will fall down or melts, isn't it? The nearest, the piece of wax which is nearest to the flame, it absorbs the heat quickly. So yes, you can see this. Even this also, you can see this. Isn't it? So the process by which heat is transformed from the hotter body to the cold, and जैसे जैसे ये हीट आगे ट्रांसफ़र होती जाएगी इस हिसाब से ये वैक्स गिरता जाएगा. ओके, hotter end to the colder end of an object. So this process is known as a conduction. Now generally in solids, conduction takes place, the heat transferred by this process. You will see this, isn't it? And if you touch, this portion will be hot. So here are the some of the wax are melted. You can see easily. Among these pieces only the 2 pieces are left, other the pieces are melted. As soon as that will get a heat, it will absorb and it will start falling. So this process is known as a conduction, in which the heat transforms from a hotter end to the colder end. See, it's melt. Now, do all the substances conduct the heat easily? No, isn't it? So let us study the materials which allows the heat to pass through them easily are conductors, and the materials which do not allow the heat to pass from them are called insulators, or we can say poor conductors. Now here in this table I have a few objects, isn't it? One is plastic scale, one is steel spoon, one is pencil, one is iron rod. Here safety pin I am having, this thin copper strip, copper wire, and this aluminium wire. Now one by one we'll see it. The first will begin with the plastic. It will not pass. It starts melting. You can see the change in the appearance, isn't it? So it will not pass. So this substance comes in the category of insulator, or we can say poor conductors. The next will take a copper wire. You can see it starts absorbing heat. While you touch, you will notice it. So this substance are known as what? Conductors. It absorbs heat, or it allows the heat to pass through them. The second one, I will take this wooden pencil. You can see it starts burning, isn't it? Wood starts burning, so it will not absorb. Okay, so we can say it is a insulator, poor conductor. The next I am having a steel spoon. You can see it starts absorbing heat, isn't it? So this comes in the category of conductors. I am having this iron rod. The tip will make in the contact of heat. It is also same like the steel spoon. It starts taking heat. You will notice it. Okay, so this comes in the category of conductors. But if this is made up of plastic, isn't it? You will notice that the metallic pan which is used by your mom for cooking as a plastic handles or wooden handles, so it will not get heated. You can easily lift them. But if this plastic surface, it's changing. It start melting like a wax. You will notice this. Okay, so this plastic side is insulator, which is a poor conductor, but this steel side is a conductor. The next one, I am having this aluminium wire. Okay, a wire which is used in electrical purpose. It allows the heat to pass through them. It is a conductor of heat. The next object I am having a small safety pin. Okay, it will also conductors. You will see that it allows the heat to pass through it. So these are the substances which we learned, which are the insulators and which are the conductors. Now the second activity which we are going to do is transfer of heat by convection in air. Now what is the convection in air? With the candle, according to the textbook figure 4.2, you will see that the air near the heat source gets hotted and rises up. We understand this, isn't it? So let us see. Now what this another activity 4.9, keep one hand above the flame and one hand on the side of the flame. Top hand and side hand. Do all the hands both get equal heat? दोनों हाथ को equal heat मिलेगी? No. The top hand gets more heat rather than this side heat. So notice that towards the top the air gets heated by the convection. So we can understand that from the upward side, upside, the air gets heated by convection. Therefore the hand above the flame feels hot. On the other side, this hand, there is no convection and air does not feel as hot as this up hand. Okay, so this is all about the activities.